We know that DOGE is focused on the trillions and the federal government fraud, waste, and corruption, but just in case they missed this one, we wanted to put our spin on it. At Kiss My Tech, we've also decided to take it up a notch by elevating the goal from efficiency to effectiveness, as in the Department of Government Effectiveness. Naturally, to be effective, efficiency is part of the party. But before we doge right in, let's clarify the problems we are addressing with this idea. According to the World Bank, 20% of foreign aid money goes to corruption. Could the problem be any more obvious than that? We, the United States taxpayers, give away $63 billion a year in foreign aid money. So that means $12.6 billion is being paid to fund foreign corruption. And we're accepting that. Yeah, no more. Time to doge that out of existence. This needs to stop. If countries want aid from the United States, we need to not only say but enforce a zero-tolerance policy on corruption. Come on now, we've got enough problems funding corruption within our own government. We don't need to be funding other countries' corruption as well. We need the big man to lay down the law. He's been clear with Hamas about the hostages and clear with Panama about ripping off the U.S. for using the canal we paid to build. Now he needs to sound the alarm worldwide. No more stealing from the cookie jar. If the U.S. government discovers people or companies taking money that they were not entitled to based on their aid agreement, then no more money, as in their aid money is instantly frozen. There is always a ton of bipartisan disagreement about foreign aid itself, amounts, and which countries will receive it, so we'll leave the battle of who gets what aid and how much they get to the politicians. But if U.S. aid is granted, well then, we need to police the distribution of those funds. And do not tell me that we can't track that, because that is just baloney. Of course we can. Come on now, when you go to watch a basketball game or a concert at the new Intuit Arena in Los Angeles, you're required to have your face scanned and provide a credit card. Then the AI tracks you throughout the arena. You can walk into shops and whatever you take is automatically billed to your credit card. And that's just a local sports arena. Admittedly, we have no idea how the process for applying for aid really works, nor do we know how those proposals are evaluated and on what basis their aid proposals are approved. But this is definitely a great task to doge it up a notch with technology. Obviously, a bit of AI would be on the menu, with the focus being on effectiveness and efficiency. Not to mention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So let's imagine how it could go. The country applying could be given access to a dedicated online portal for that country's proposed aid package. Each approved user would be identified with biometric data and, of course, be password protected. The aid applicant country would upload a comprehensive plan for how the aid would be used, complete with interactive links and videos integrated with AI to provide an enhanced history of the area, an overview of previous aid packages, and relevant research information from around the world. Users on the review committee would ask the AI questions and interact with the content. If the reviewer asks a question, and let's say the data to sufficiently answer the question isn't available, the review committee could post questions requesting applicants to post follow-up answers and additional information. The portal could also allow for live chat and FaceTime calls in order to build a robust interactive plan. A custom-designed AI program could also aggregate the data and sort it to present real-time analysis in the form of AI video summaries or text reports. Of course, if someone tries to slide in a line item for $600 hammers, that would be flagged. Reviewers would have easy access to use online tools in order to properly evaluate the proposal and decide whether or not to approve it. If it's approved, the AI would monitor the progress of administering and distributing that aid package, whether it's money being given, food provided, or medicine being delivered. Everything would be tracked. Those receiving that aid would have to be identified by any means necessary: biometric scan, fingerprint, or government-issued ID. So, if anything goes astray, it would be flagged. Any inconsistencies could trigger a human review, and if corruption is confirmed, the aid is stopped. Obviously, the AI could also generate monthly video and text reports that would be available to the relevant government staff. An abridged version, as in one that didn't jeopardize national security, could even be shared with the public. Another bell and whistle that could be added is public access to an aid tracker, so people could see how their money is being spent. Naturally, they would have the opportunity to interact with the content available. It all sounds so good, but there is a bit of fly in the AI, as in a bit of a problem. Much of the current corruption occurs when some or most of that aid is delivered by an NGO. An NGO is a nonprofit organization that operates independently of any government, typically one whose purpose is to address a social or political issue. Yeah, there are NGOs that have become embroiled in corruption, but there is also the issue that many NGOs see submitting to corruption as a necessary part of getting the job done. For example, it's not uncommon for a medical NGO to have to pay bribes in order to be able to treat patients without being hurt. Integrating related NGOs into the proposed AI tracking portal would definitely improve the situation. However, even if all of that was to happen, no system would be perfect, but it would be a giant step in the right direction. The system can definitely make it harder for the corruption to occur, but at the end of the day, it needs to be enforced by people. For example, possibly more military support could be allocated for aid missions during times of low conflict, which brings us full circle back to the leadership. They must stand strong against foreign corruption. I think you get the idea. Accountability and transparency is the name of the game, yielding effectiveness and efficiency. But before we bring this DOGE idea to a close, we gotta take a super wild-ass guess as to how much money this DOGE idea would save. Okay, so this is a ginormous guess, but we're going to estimate this would at least cut the money paid to fund foreign corruption in half, saving the taxpayers $6.3 billion, which is definitely not nothing. We hope you've enjoyed this totally unique, out-of-the-box idea and found it thought-provoking. You are cordially invited back to Doge it out again. Bye for now, and don't forget to kiss my tech.